First off, what I wanted to ask you is, I mean, you guys kind of started the game. How has it changed since, from back then until now? And this kind of new generation of rappers talking about money and cars and all that.
Yeah,
And
that's how they was back then. If you listen to Sugar Hill Gang, I got bodyguards. I got two big cars. Definitely ain't the whack. Got a Lincoln Continental and a sunroof Cadillac. It was always people bragging. They just bragging harder because they probably got more, to brag about. But that first rap, big, huge rap record was talking about what he had. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, absolutely.
So when people say that, like, huh? Isn't that where rap started? People bragging and holding their jock and saying, I'm the king. I'm better than you. I got more than you. I'm flyer than you. So it's like, again, I'm not really judgmental on that. People always try to come with, oh, rap's, changed and it's different. And I just think it's all about swag. I kind of created the swag thing. So like talking to Run about, yo, it was better back when you had better. What do you mean? The job was to be fly. I was like champagne, caviar, and bubble baths.
Well, speaking of fly, I mean, you guys kind of were one of the first crews to kind of really bring hip hop fashion out. It's kind of.
Yeah, it's all a braggadocious game. It's like people like to get mad at new school rap. I don't choose to do that. I like Drake. I like Kanye. I love Jay-Z. Ball So Hard. Come on. And Ball So Hard is so big, but nobody will come down on that. That's a big record, but it's like, oh, what do you think about people bragging? What are you talking about? Don't we all love Jay-Z bragging?
Well, I mean, back to
being from the hood.
well, back
I'm
to
defensive when it comes to that.
yeah, fair enough, man, fair enough. Back to fashion. I mean, how important? Because I mean, in China, like hip hop's new. I mean, people are just kind of getting into it. In China, it's still quite a new phenomenon. It's maybe 10 years tops, and even that, the artists are still just kind of pushing it. How important is fashion to hip hop, to the culture as a whole?
It's everything, It's right there. It's right there with everything. Got to be fly, This was what I considered fly in my time, and now if they consider, and I had gold chains before they had diamond chains, the big Run DMC gold rope. So, it's everything. It's part of your confidence.
Right.
If you're not dressed right, you can't feel good about yourself, and you definitely ain't got no wins on the mic. Unless you so dope on the mic, you can just wear any, and sometimes you can wear stuff that's so grimy and like onyx and just broken down that you still swagged out because you're so great on the mic.
Right, fair enough.
But you still got swag. Whether DMX was not wearing gold, if he's just looking grimy, it's just another sense of I'm from the street. I'm from the street. I don't need that at this moment. You follow what I'm saying? So it's.
I mean, for this new generation of rappers coming up here in Shanghai now, I mean, like I said, it's a pretty new scene. Do you have any advice to give these new MCs, producers, DJs up here as someone who started the game, one of the originators?
Say that question again?
Like for some of the, for the new MCs and the DJs, producers, just kind of beginning up here in this new scene, as someone who started it back in the States, do you have any advice for this kind of upcoming, all the upcoming artists here in Shanghai?
Well, I like all the new. I'm just getting into what Ruckus does, so I'm into like seeing like all these great DJs with all these great beats, whether it's Calvin Harris or Tiesto. Like I don't really know how this game should pan out, but they got their own power there in that DJ world. So, I don't really know. It seems like when I think of being over here in China, that there'll probably be some DJ that'll just take over the world, rather than trying to see if rapping in Chinese or whatever,
Right.
is going to work on a massive level. They seem to already have their game where they're filling up stadiums being DJs and making these dope beats.
Do you have any advice for upcoming hip hop artists here in China?
I really don't know. It's a weird thing when you think about how do you translate, to America, if you're caring about America, rapping in another language. It's kind of, it'll probably work really big in its own place. So if you're thinking about doing it locally, and you're rapping with your tongue, then you can take from the old school element and make it work here. Each place that has their own language, rapping to that. I'm sure that's how it works.
Right.
In many places where they speak their own language only.
One of the popular mantras of hip hop is, keep it real. What does that mean to you?
I'm the obvious keeper up. I got a Reverend collar on. Keeping it real is not being seen through, not being fake. Like, I think I'm the ultimate keeping it real. Like, I went from Run to daggone Reverend Run. Like, that's just way too real. Like, you can tell, like, if you're in America and you're watching me and my words of wisdom, you're like, wow, this guy is really a reverend, and he could care less whether we care. No, I don't say I could care less whether they care. It's just so me that you believe me.
Cool.
Not following a crowd. Doing what's true to you.
I mean, you've seen hip hop change from the beginnings into what it is now. What is hip hop to you? What does it really mean to you? Someone says, I hear it a lot. People saying, I'm hip hop. I'm part of hip hop. What does that mean? It's a culture in itself. But for you, how do you reflect on that?
Say that again. How do I?
Like, what is hip? I always hear people kind of saying, I'm hip hop. I'm part of hip hop. What does that mean to be a part of hip hop?
I don't know. What is being a part? Being a part of hip hop is being a part of. He's part of hip hop. He don't rap. He's been a part of hip hop. This is my manager here, works with Diggy and everything. It's like you're part of hip hop. You're part of hip hop. Hip hop's a attitude. It's almost like it's a life. It's an attitude. You don't have to be an artist to be hip hop. It's an attitude.
Cool. Message for the youth.
Have fun, be careful, pray, evolve as you get older. It's the only thing I could think of. I don't, try not to be with the craziest, stupidest crowd if you think you're gonna get in trouble. Don't be too risky. I'm sure God has a little bit of room for you as a kid to just have some fun, but you just gotta be careful that you don't go too far and ruin your life.